Peace, peace and welcome. It's pretty early. This, what is this? Tuesday. It is Tuesday, August 14th, 2018. I just finished my morning ritual, which includes sun salutation and meditation. And I thought it would be nice to come on and do a reading with Ching, as well as pull an oracle card from the I Ching to share that energy with you today. Welcome. I'm Tamangina, Priestess Heart. And before we get started, let's take a nice deep centering breath to enter into this sacred space. Peace, peace, peace. That's something all of us could use more of. And as I'm learning and experiencing and growing, the more years I have on this planet, and it's been quite a few, and for that I give thanks. Thank you for being here, Mari. Welcome. Peace is not something that can be taught, and it's not something that can be won. It is not something that can be established through war, or even necessarily through negotiation. My understanding is that peace is a state of being that must be cultivated within yourself. No one else can give you peace. No one else can be quiet long enough to give you that peace that you feel that you need. The cultivation of peace, from my understanding, is something that must be planted within you, must be nurtured and cultivated. And how does one begin that journey of cultivating peace? It is my understanding that it is through practicing self-acceptance, through the willingness to look at oneself in the mirror, starting with something as mundane as looking in the mirror and saying to yourself, I see you, I love you, I accept you as you are. And then from there, taking a nice deep breath all the way down into the diaphragm. The first sign of life when a baby is born is that nice big breath, is that scream or that cry that comes after the breath, the breath. And as we're going through the motions of life, as we're walking in the midst of our society, the one thing that we learn to hold back is our breath. We grow and we learn to fear taking a deep breath. And it's through the lack of that deep breath that we begin to lose our peace, our equilibrium, our center. So I just want to invite you today and this evening, as you're beginning to sleep, is to breathe. Take your hands and put up to your heart, sort of right in the center of your chest, a little bit off center to the left. And practice taking a deep breath right into your heart area. And check in that space as often as you're able to remember. So I don't want to keep you very long. Some of us are winding our night down, as Mari is, and some of us are beginning our day. So we're going to do a reading from the Tao Te Ching, translation by Jia Fu Feng and his wife Jane English, of black and white art and photography. And this is the Tao Te Ching, chapter 54. Mari says it's only 8:30 p.m. That is around the time that I'm winding down and getting into bed myself. Okay. What country are you located, Mari? I'm going to read from the Tao Te Ching as she answers that. So 54. What is firmly established cannot be uprooted. What is firmly grasped cannot slip away. It will be honored from generation to generation. Cultivate virtue in yourself, and virtue will be real. Cultivate it in the family, and virtue will abound. Cultivate it in the village, and virtue will grow. Cultivate it in the nation, and virtue will be abundant. Cultivate it in the universe, and virtue will be everywhere. Therefore, look at the body as body. Look at the family as family. Look at the village as village. Look at the nation as nation. Look at the universe as universe. How do I know the universe is like this? By looking. I think this ties in perfectly with what I was sharing earlier about peace. You can interchange the term virtue with peace. And as you notice here in the Tao Te Ching, the very beginning of the cultivation begins with self, begins with cultivating it within yourself. And that is the only way for it to be real, is once it's cultivated within yourself, and then your family, and then your village, which is, town or city, or even beginning with your neighborhood. And then it will grow. And then it's cultivated within the nation, and then within the universe. So there you have it. Tao Te Ching, chapter 54. Australia. I was in Australia back in, what year was that? December 2004. Beautiful country, beautiful country. Interesting roadkill. In the United States, it depends on where you live, whether it's armadillo or, unfortunately, deer. All of it's unfortunate, man encroaching on wildlife. But in Australia, it was very interesting. The wallabies, which to me look like miniature kangaroos, Tasmanian devils. The sound of Tasmanian devils, I think they're tiny, but it's a very interesting sound. The one thing that really struck me in Australia, the crows in Australia, crows in the United States, they both make the cow sound, but it's slightly different whether it's America or Australia, the crows, it's definitely a slightly different sound, which I found very fascinating. But Australia is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I was in Melbourne. Dawn and dusk is when they are most active, right? The Tasmanian devils. I'm not even going to try to make that sound. It sounds like a whirlwind sort of engine revving up, revving up. Beautiful, beautiful country. I was in Melbourne and the Dandenongs, which is absolutely beautiful, and down in Tasmania. Tasmania, what a beautiful, beautiful place. And Tasmania in some parts sort of reminds me of Pennsylvania. And there was an IGA grocery store, which IGA is a little tiny little grocery store we have here in Pennsylvania. And I was so shocked to see it in Tasmania. And it wasn't that much different from the IGA grocery store here. In fact, it wasn't. Although we do not have Vegemite. I think that's what it's called, Vegemite. Vegemite, Vegemite. We don't have Vegemite here in the United States. Okay, so I have out the Tao Oracle that we're going to read. Oh, before I read the Tao Oracle, I think the last place, I happen to like Vegemite. The last I Ching reading that I did was hexagram number 3. So let me go ahead, before I pull a card, let me read from hexagram number 4. And currently it is 6:33 a.m. here on the East Coast of the United States. Okay. All right, I did 3 the last time, memory serves. Today I will read from hexagram number 4, which is Ming, Youthful Folly. Let me see if I can find number 4. Again, you know, I was doing my morning ritual, my meditation, and I was like, I should come on. And I get the question, when do you go live? Unless I have someone scheduled, I go live when the spirit moves me. So let's see, number 4. I like to have visuals. Number 4, oh, here it is. Okay, number 4. So this is just a reading that I will do before actually doing an actual energy card pull reading for us. So this is Youthful Folly. So Youthful Folly. There we go. Is that number 4? Yes, number 4. Youthful Folly. Even the foolish can attain wisdom by modestly following the sage. Folly is a characteristic of youth. Those who have had little experience generally exhibit little wisdom. This is true of us in a spiritual way as well. In comparison to the sage, we are babes in the woods. The hexagram Meng counsels us to utilize the I Ching as a lantern so that we may survive our youthful folly and travel safely through the woods of life. There is no shame in seeking guidance in life. A child is eager to be shown the way by his parents and teachers. And we are wise to recognize that in spiritual terms, we are akin to children. Our success will come quicker if we find and follow a wise teacher. The sage is available to serve in this way for those who approach the I Ching with a sincere desire to learn and grow. To study the I Ching is to gain the perspective of the deity, to learn the cosmic lesson inherent in every situation that faces us. If we truly look for and strive to comprehend these larger lessons, we gain mastery over fear, doubt, and anxiety. We can learn from study of the I Ching to live in a state of understanding, contentment, and acceptance. But several things are required of us. The first is that we learn to suspend our mistrust of the unknown and allow the sage to lead us. It is tempting to think that the I Ching may be just a book, merely words on paper, but there is more to it than this. To accept this is to recognize the sage and become receptive to his or her assistance. The second thing required of us is that we quiet the demands of our egos for comprehensive answers to our questions about life. The I Ching teaches us not how to get from A to Z, but how to get from A to B, then from B to C, then from C to D. The sage travels step by step, dealing always with what is immediately at hand and bringing complete focus and concentration to the moment. By doing the same, we fall into step with and receive the help of the creative power of the universe. Lastly, we are required to unstructure our attitude. By abandoning strategies about people and situations, we let the past and the future go and meet the present with an open mind. To be unstructured and open is to allow the sage to guide us safely and joyfully through life. The image of Ming is that of a stream beginning to flow down a mountainside, filling each ravine and hollow space as it goes. If we persevere in following the sage, seeking the counsel of the I Ching, and filling in the gaps in our character as they are revealed, we will be led to lasting success in life. So I'd like to add to that or expand upon this counsel of seeking the sage and seeking a wise teacher. I would include in that, as I always do, connecting with your center within. There are, especially in this stage of internet and YouTube and Facebook and all of that, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of sages out there, of teachers. And it is good to seek counsel. However, even in the midst of seeking counsel, whether it's seeking counsel from me or your parents or your grandparents or your best friend, to not neglect your own inner sage, because I trust and know and truly believe and truly know that each and every one of us, we have within us all of the knowledge and wisdom that we need. We are a fractal of the universe. And learning to get still, to connect with the breath, and to go within and to connect with our own inner sage. We're seeking counsel of self. And we connect that with our seeking counsel with others. And we find a balance in there. And through sitting and getting still and really focusing on breath, and if we're truly honest with ourselves, we will look into that inner mirror and begin to reveal aspects of ourselves that we must work on We must cultivate and refine. Let's see. Discharge summary says, I heard the devil's in Tasmania. Yeah. All right. So before we bring this to a close, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the Tao Oracle and pull a card for us today for this week. And I will use the translation from Benabel Wynn, which is a wonderful translation. Okay. I moved the light just out of eye shot, so it's a little hard to see. So retreat. So we're going to look at hexagram number 33, retreat. All right, where did I put the book? I know I just had it. Okay, give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. I have no idea what I did with that book, but luckily, so we're going to look at hexagram number 33. Hexagram number 33. Okay, hexagram number 33, retreat, withdraw, absconding. And it is, I was about to read the wrong one. It is made up of heaven and mountain trigram, the Bagua of heaven and mountain. And so what I'm going to do is just to give us a little bit of background so that we, all right. So all of the hexagrams are made up of 2 Bagua. Okay, the first trigram is heaven. And that particular Bagua is, you see it right up here at the top. It is all solid lines, and so that is a yang. So that is masculine energy. And it represents creation, the creative force, strength and creativity, expansive energy, power, authority, the celestial kingdom, the immaterial and intangible. And it connects with the crown chakra, the direction of the north and the west, northwest. Winter solstice. Life aspect is fatherhood, blessings, allies, friends, opportunities. Welcome, Carol. Welcome. And the second Bagua in this hexagram is mountain. So that's going to have a little bit of earth energy in there. So let me turn to mountain. Mountain. Okay, here we go. So this is the mountain Bagua, which has 1 yang and double yin. So that's the masculine energy up at the top, and then the feminine and the feminine. So it's definitely energy there, but there's a lot of grounding and resting. Okay, so this Bagua, mountain, again, keeping still, preserving energy through stability, resting, respite, completion, discipline, a resting state, rumination, completion, meditation, and cultivation. This is northeast. So before we had the northwest, now we have the northeast. And the season is spring equinox, before it was winter solstice. As life aspect, knowledge, education, skills, wisdom. And this is the root chakra. So wow, we have like a perfect balance here. We have the crown chakra energy and the energy of the root chakra. We have, I think, before we had heaven, and now we have mountain, heaven and mountain. And so let's read Benabel Wen's translation of hexagram 33, which is the I Ching that we have pulled for today's energy. And retreat. The, what do you call it? The key words in this card is a timely departure, letting go, withdrawal, reevaluation, retirement. Don't hesitate to walk away. Beneath heaven, there is mountain, absconding into the darkness. The sage maintains distance from those who are inferior. There is no need for enmity, but you must remain solemn and stern. Better to retreat for now. There is a small gain to be had if you withdraw from the endeavor. Heaven above, mountain below. The optimal path is to retreat upward to heaven. The mountain pushes the heaven upward. As darker forces ascend toward you, do not go down to meet them. Instead, retreat skyward. Hostile forces are advancing upon you, and a confrontation will not serve your interest. It is better to retreat for now, but do not mistake the act of retreat with fleeing. Do not flee. Do not abandon the endeavor, and do not try to escape your opponent. This is not about letting the opponent prevail. This is about withdrawing for now, so you can plan your counterattack. You show your strength by bringing your opponent to a standstill by retreating. By retreating now, your opponent will come to a position of rest. When your opponent is in that position of rest, you can descend down and attack. Hexagram corresponds with the late summer months, a time to begin harvest and preservation for the winter ahead. Mari says, I deactivated my Facebook account 2 days ago, so that card suits me well. Welcome, Sterling. So yeah, so this retreat, as I was reading that, and the energy that I was feeling was, to remind us there's a time for everything. There's a time to, be extremely active. There's a time to be passive, to sit back and to just observe the situation. And this isn't about running away from responsibilities. This isn't about, sometimes we have energies or people that are coming towards us. And especially if we're being in that state of, immature ego, we like to meet fire with fire, meet force with force. I find this energy is about stepping back and pulling back into our own personal reserves and checking in with ourselves, connecting with that crown chakra, which is what the heaven Bagua is, and also grounding us within the root chakra, which is about what that mountain is. And if you, the mountain Bagua, and if you think of a mountain, it's dense and it's heavy and it's resting on the earth, but it's reaching upward. So again, getting settled with yourself, checking in with yourself, pulling your reserves back and checking, not only your energy level, but where you are, and really surveying where you are, and then determining what your next step is going to be. So take time to retreat within yourself. Maybe it's a nice hot bubble bath. Maybe it's sitting in meditation. Maybe it's walking, an act of meditation. You know, sometimes people get tripped up on that word meditation, and all they can think of is, you know, monks chanting, or monks and nuns sitting still and being quiet. But walking is meditation. Practicing yoga, if you're really doing it with intention of focusing on your breath and not so much worried about how perfect your stance is, your position is, that is another form of meditation. So I encourage you, if you checked in with this live stream towards the end, because I'm right at the end, I encourage you to go back to the beginning and check in with our reading from the Tao Te Ching and hexagram number 4 that we did today. I thank all of you for joining. Carol and Sterling, Marie and Discharge Summary, thank you so much for being here. And all of those of you who are joining us in the replay, I thank you. And remember, the cultivation of virtue, the cultivation of peace begins within yourself first, then your family, then your town or village, your nation, and then the universe. That is the only way that true peace is going to manifest in this world. And one more thing I'd like to share. You know, we are all on this journey. We are all attempting to discover our own mystery of self and mystery of life. And again, I remind you of hexagram number 33, the retreat. Remember, there's going to be so many people that are going to pull you here, that are going to pull you there, that are going to tell you to kill your ego, that are going to tell you to mature your ego, that are going to tell you that you're living in a matrix. They're going to tell you that, you know, you're living with a virus, that this is bad for you, that this is good for you. The best advice that you're ever going to get is to breathe and go within your own self and find your own middle path. So that way, when you're seeking guidance and counsel with others, you can hear their opinions, their ideas. But the most important thing to do is what is best for you at this time where you are in your life and your journey. So again, I thank you for being here. If you enjoy this video, please like it, please share it, and please subscribe below and hit the notification bell. So let's take a nice deep centering breath. Let's remember our ancestors and all those who have come before us. And the thought that just popped into my mind, let's remember the trees. Let's remember to give thanks for the trees, because without the trees, there would be no life on this planet. Without the trees, there would be no protection from the heat. So whether you like hugging trees or kissing trees, please remember to send healing and positive energy to trees, because they are our ancestors. They are our future. They are our life support. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Tamangina, Priestess Heart. Have a beautiful day. Until next time, keep going.